Alright guys, so we're back for another video. Welcome back to the Shell Shack. Hello. Another rainy day here in Northwest Florida. So I've already got some resin poured and I got a project lined up and I got it all the way through the debubbler. But let me show you what we're doing. So this ginormous dolphin, which is a mold I had to make myself because they don't sell molds this large for dolphins. I don't understand. You would think that would be a popular item, but so I made my own mold using a thick piece of plywood that I cut into the dolphin shape and then laid it, made the mold. And what we're doing is, this is going to be interesting. So this is for an order, and the person placing the order wants the head going this way. So as you can see, the head is going this way, which potentially could pose a problem. So what we're doing is we're going to lay down all the sand and the base color for all the waves, and we're going to fill up this with sand and base waves, or base ocean colors. And then we're going to demold. After it cures, we're going to demold it, flip it, and then do our seashells. So they're kind of 3D. We're going to do our seashells and our waves as after it's flipped. So that's the plan. The colors I'm using today, I have light sky blue and this chameleon powder living earth, or let's see, as our closest to the shore colors. I have the metallics pigment. This is the liquid pigment as our medium color, and I have looking for it. I have rainbow eye candies, rainbow blue with a spot, because it's not quite dark enough, so I put a spot of the ocean turquoise in. And by the way, this mixture in the vacuum chamber, whew, it had made a lot of bubbles. So those are our colors that we're going to be using, and let's go ahead and get pouring, because this is a 4-hour fast cure, because this is just going to be a thin layer to get us started. Mainly it's to get the sand down. So let's and again, this is our Pensacola beach sand. So, and basically so at the beach, like up by the parking area, I don't go actually in the dunes or on the beach itself because I don't want to take from there, but up by the parking area, I just get like a little bowl of sand. Excuse me, I've had the hiccups for like all morning. It's been weird. So what I do is I just collect like a little bowl of sand. I don't get very much at one time, just a little bowl. I bring it back home, and I put it in the oven and let it just sit in the oven and let it dry out, like on 170 degrees Fahrenheit. I let it stay in there for like 20-25 minutes, and that bakes all the moisture out of it. I do have, like, every once in a while you'll even see it in this, I do have like little bits of shell and kind of grit, because it's just right off the beach. So, you know, I try to get as clean as I can, but you know, there's always like little bits of shell and natural things. It is sand. So I hope I made enough. So we don't need a very hefty batch of sand here. And if I need to, what I can also do after we flip this is I can add to this beach layer. I don't want the whole background to be blue, so that's why I'm doing this part. But if I need to, I can build up this beach area after we flip it. So it's always a possibility. Plus that'll add to that 3D effect that we're going for, that we were going to do with the shells. So, and that's fine. And after I get all this down, I will show you the plywood dolphin that I made. So that went into making this mold. Yeah, this was a large mold to make. All right, let's go ahead and start getting these blues down. So we're gonna start with our, oop, yep, this resin is getting warm, guys. So let's start with our, this is the closest to the shore blue. It's kind of an aqua. Okay. And our medium blue, this is the liquid pigment blue. And what I'm looking for here is just to get a coating. It's not, my intention is not to make it super thick. This is just to get us started, so we have something to build this color onto in the next layer. And if it goes over the sand at that point, I'm okay with that. Because like I said, when we flip this, we can add some sand to, you know, to what's going to be the front. So, and if I'm off camera, I apologize. This is a very large mold. Okay, I'm just getting into that tail. Let's get some more up in here for the fin. I think I might need my spatula now. I think that's what I'll do. I'll grab my spatula because we're gonna need every drop of this. Ooh. And this is, I can feel the cups getting warm. It took, because it took a while in the vacuum chamber because of this blue that I have in my hand right now. So I want to get this out before it starts getting too thick on us, but it is already getting quite thick. Okay. And now let's go for this, our medium blue. And it's still raining, so if you guys hear noise in the background or anything like that, it is still raining. It's a rainy week this week on the Gulf Coast. It's a perfect time to be inside doing all fun kinds of resin projects. Yeah, I have a, so I already had a, what you call it, a 12-inch dolphin mold. So I already had that, but the buyer was interested in something a bit bigger. And it's not been the first time I've been asked for a bigger dolphin. So I thought, you know, it's just time to get myself educated on the art of mold making. Meaning I watch YouTube. I stayed in a Holiday Inn last night, therefore I can make molds. No. But so watched a bunch of videos, and Mike actually helped me out with this mold. We both did this mold together, and he helped me build the frame and everything for it, which was really cool. It was a fun project we got to do together before he had to go back to Beirut. I think I can still get a few more scrapings out of this. Okay, so now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take my heat gun. Actually, first thing I'm going to do is get my hands a little clean here. They're all sticky. Just using my alcohol and a paper towel just to get some of this off my gloves so I don't completely cake my heat gun in resin. I've done that before. I've been through a couple of heat guns.
Emerald coast streams where dolphins play, leaping high through waves that sway. Snow white sands stretch under palms so grand. Art by Sandy captures this land.
Okay, so that just warmed up the resin, so it was a little more movable and spread a little easier, because like I said, it was thickening up. And all I'm doing now is using my spatula here, since it's already dirty. I'm using my spatula to go around and push the resin to the edges of the mold. Now there's I think on the fin there's a slight angle where the edge comes down kind of at a bevel a little bit. So I might need something skinnier for that part. I think I'm gonna get a stick. I should just get a stick. I keep trying to use a tool that I'm like, oh, well, it's already dirty, so that's fine, but it's not the right tool for the job. So, oh, this resin is getting so sticky, guys. So sticky. Okay, smaller stick. Okay. And just spreading this out. I was using the heat gun as well to blend some of these colors because I don't want distinct lines. I want the blues to kind of blend in with each other. And really, I can swirl and twirl and all kinds of stuff. I can do anything to this resin. It doesn't gonna matter because it's gonna be, remember, we're flipping it. So this isn't even the side that's going to be seen. All I'm doing is really making sure that this entire bottom is coated. That's really all we're shooting for here. And it looks like that is the case. I'm going to hit it with a long neck lighter just to get out some bubbles. And I thought, you know, if I needed to as well, like if I don't like how it looks when I flip this, then what I can do is after it comes out of the mold and we flip it, I could do a coat of blue again, and where I can swirl it, you know, we can always do that as well. And I think with this one, so on our beach coasters, they were so thin that it was hard to do a lot of like cool things. So what I'm thinking though, this time we're gonna do 2 experiments. And I keep dipping my lighter into the resin. We're going to do 2 experiments. The first experiment is, let's see, I had a thought. It was there. My train derailed and lost all of its cargo. My train of thought derailed and lost all the cargo. Well, one experiment is, so in you know how you can add clear PVC glue, PVA, PVC, one of those. You can add glue to your resin when you're trying to like use glitter, and it suspends the glitter because it thickens up the resin. So what I'm thinking about doing is adding the glue to my clear resin and then doing my waves, because what happens is, and you guys probably saw this in the coasters, is the resin is so like it's moving around a lot, you know, it's so liquid still that when I blow the wave out, it just shrinks right back. Like you blow it out and it goes whoop and it comes right back, or it congregates in the center. I don't want that for this dolphin. I want the waves to kind of do this. So I think if we put PVA glue in it, and that could, so if we put the glue in it, I'm just going to say glue from now on. If we put that in there, it will thicken up the resin, and we can put it through the debubbler so it's as clear as possible. And then we can keep the waves where we put them. You know, we're not going to put glue in the white. We're just going to do it in the clear that it's going into. So that's one thing I was thinking of. The other experiment, now that I remembered it, is we are going to have like our base wave, because we're going to do 2 layers of waves. So the base coat waves, I think we're going to put some transparent pigment into it, like some alcohol ink into it, and that way the bottom waves are going to be like have a color to them, but then the top waves will leave white, so that way it'll give it that really cool 3D effect, and like you're seeing the waves deeper into the water. So we're going to try both of those things once we flip this thing, and I think that's going to come out really cool, because okay, so our dolphin is done for now. I'm not going to touch it anymore. I'm going to take my gloves off so I can show you something, because I need to bring the camera down. So you see this. Now this is a cutting board that is also for an order that I did. Now I'm going to bring you close in, but let me see if I can get some better light on that too. There we go. So as you can see, the waves, like I finally got the waves to stay. So the waves are actually able to, they stayed where I put them. And that's because in this piece, I kind of already did the glue trick, and it worked. And it was a smaller piece. So I thought, well, you know, I'll try it in a smaller piece before doing it in the big dolphin. So it did work here. Now we're going to try it on here. Oh, and now you can really see those colors. Ooh, that's gonna be nice. Do I have a hole in my sand? No, it's just the light reflecting. So that's how this came out. Very cool. Oh, I forgot. I think I have dogs out here. Are you guys out here? Nope, because it's raining again, so I bet they ran to the house. So I will show you really quick. This is the piece that the mold was made out of. So this is just a piece of, what do you call it? Plywood. I can't brain today. Can't brain, has the dumb. So this is a piece of plywood that I took and cut out a a dolphin out of. Oh my God, it's a rough day. So I cut the dolphin out, sanded down the edges, and then I put a coating of clear varnish on it. You can kind of see I did a little extra around those edges there. So this is the base of our mold, and that way I can make more if I needed to. So anyways, guys, well, that is it for now, and I will catch you back a little bit later, and we will continue working on. I got one more coat, thicker coat to do on this in the mold, and then we're going to be taking it out of the mold and flipping it over. So yeah, the next coat will be a big thick layer of blue, and then we're going to take it out and flip it, because I'm not going to this whole depth. As you can see, this is a very deep mold. I'm not going to that depth. I made the mold this deep in case I wanted to put things in it, but we don't need to do that for just a plaque for your wall. So that's the plan. All right, guys, I'll see you back here in a little bit. Bye now. Good morning, everyone. It's only been a few seconds for you, but it's been overnight for me, and our dolphin is ready to come out. As you can see, I've already put the blue on the background, just to thicken it up a little bit and even it all out on the back. So this is ready to come out, and I was gonna take this out of the mold off camera, but I cannot deny you all the satisfaction of the sound of what these things sound like when they come out of these molds. And I'm gonna try to put it up to the camera so you can hear it better. Oh yeah. I love that sound. Oh, this is a heavy mold. putting that aside. You can see I do have some trimming to do where I had to kind of scrape my stick off of the edges, but I'll go and do that trimming off camera. I'm just going to use my little knife to do that. Or I might use my deburring tool, except for these areas where I won't be able to get the deburring tool into. So let's see what we have. See if we're going to have to put some blue on the background. Okay. Well, there's some, like, I think a little bit of sand got in here. I don't know, like there's something gritty on the back here, but let's smooth all that out. Now, obviously, like I said, this is a matte mold, so there's nothing super impressive, and it's got a very nice wood grain now, but color wise, it's not terrible. I might bring some more. Let me see what this looks like wet. That may be our ticket. Let's see what it looks like wet. Okay. Oh, it's also helping getting some of this grit off, whatever that was. Okay, so there it is. I'll keep adding some water. Okay, I don't mind that. I thought it was a lot darker, but that was just because of the matte finish of the mold. You can see some of this grit. I'll wipe all that off. But I think what I'm gonna do is do a little bit of, maybe in our color wave, put a little extra in this part up here, just to kind of, you know, take out this line. But I think we are ready to move on to the next step. That all looks good. The sand looks good, and like I said, what I'm going to do is add some more sand so that's not so dark. This was just to give us the foundation where I could take it out of the mold and flip it and then start doing the part that we're all excited about. So yeah, not too bad. All right, well, I'm gonna get this trimmed up. I'm gonna get some stuff laid out, and we will move on to our next step in the next clip. All right, see you guys back in a little bit. All right, guys, so we're back. This is all cleaned off, and I got my shells ready, and I got UV resin, and I mixed my sand in with the UV resin, similar to what we did in the beginning, so I didn't bore you guys with that. And what I thought the best way to get the sand on here and not have it spread too far was to just do our UV resin trick again. And then we'll start building on our color. So I'm just gonna start spooning this on. This is gonna give us a little bit of our 3D effect, as well as get this sand more defined. So I'm just gonna spread this right along the bottom here, and my goal is not to go over the edge. That's for starters. I don't want to go over the edge. I just want to spread it out, and I don't mind if this sand up here is kind of darker, because that's where the waves are going to start lapping on the shore. So we're gonna just get our beach sand going, and then I also got my seashells out so we can start putting on some cool seashells. And because this is a wall hanging, that we're not limited to like how deep or whatever, I can even put some bigger shells on this if I choose to. So that's kind of fun. And the 3D effect is a good thing since we're doing a wall hanging and not coasters like we were doing last time. So while I'm doing this, it is yet another super rainy, stormy day here on the Gulf Coast. It's this has been kind of crazy for us, because typically in August we get our drier time while we all keep our eyes on the Atlantic and the Gulf to see if it's going to produce any storms, meaning hurricanes. But typically it's drier, and this August is not the case. This August has been a very wet one so far, so that's kind of unusual. I'm just gonna go for a really thin line along here. And I might have to mix up some more sand and UV resin. I'm getting close to being almost out of my sand from Pensacola Beach, guys. I have a white sand from, it's an aquarium sand, but I was trying to stick to the original here. I'll put a little more there because it was kind of lean. The original layer was kind of lean right there. So yeah, another rainy day. Actually, I need to mow my yard. I'm gonna have Jurassic Park out there if I don't get my yard done soon here. Yep, I need to mix up some more, so we'll do that real quick. I'll just leave you on camera while we do this. Okay, let's see how much more sand we have. We may have enough. Yeah, we'll have enough just to finish this project off, and then it's off to the beach for me. Time to get some more. A little pine needle or something. Ah. Okay, get that mixed in. I might sprinkle some of the white sand over this because you have your wet sand and your dry sand. And our beach sand here is like sugar. Like, it is so thin and fine, and it's actually it's 100% like real. Like, we don't import our sand here on the Gulf Coast or the Emerald Coast. We don't import our sand. It's all natural. It's also part of the Gulf Islands National Seashore, and so really big national park because of our sand dunes and all the birds and the animals like the sea turtles that call it home. And so yeah, it's all natural, but boy, man, you start walking through that, whoo, you get a workout walking through our sand. They even have like little on our beaches, they have like little boardwalks and stuff so that you can actually get down to the beach and not have your calves completely burning by the time you get there. And so you know, persons with mobility issues can get down to the beach and enjoy it as well. Okay, I made this is a little wetter. I didn't put as thick amount of sand in this part. Let's do some more right here. And my plan is, so if I do go over the edge, which I'm about to right there, so let's scooch that back and I'm gonna get a light on that really quick. I have a little pen light that came with my Let's resin. Let's get that to stop. I don't want to I'm not doing the whole thing or too much because I still want to put my seashells on here, but I want this sand not to just freely drip over the edge. But anyways, I was saying before I had that little emergency, my thought is if I do have any that drips over from this stage, because you know we're not in a mold anymore, we're on just an open side. So what I'm going to do is let it go over the edge. I'm not going to freak out about it. As you can see, I didn't tape it off either, but my thought is we can like take it and use it to our advantage. A couple of sand dollars, well, because it'll flow better. It's not going to have that retraction kind of action that we've been seeing in our pieces. And also, as I was going to take my little table sander that I showed you guys in my last video, I'm going to take my little saker and I'm going to go around the edge with the wand tool portion of it. Last time I used the flat disc sander, but I plan on using like my little wand part and go around all these edges and really clean them up good. And now I'm just going to place my shells. Now these shells are a mixture of shells I've found myself as well as shells I've purchased. So no claim to fame there. Just if I see seashells that have pretty colors and different varieties, I jump on it and pick some up when I see them. I like this little guy too. Let's see, little cone shell. Let's see where he can go. Where are you gonna live, little guy? There you go. I have a couple more of those too. I'm gonna add just for some variety. So yeah, we're gonna use that to go around the edge and clean up all the edge. It's got like a little Dremel head on it. So if any of you have ever used Dremel's tools, then you know what I mean. And that's gonna clean up our edge. This is where I use the UV light, so I'm making sure that I got into some wet resin there with those shells, or they won't have anything to attach to. That's not good. Okay, I don't want this to look just like a line of shells like I've let's see. Just do kind of randomly here. Okay. There we go. Okay. I think that's good. Maybe one more. Let's do one more little cone shell right there. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, so this is the Let's Resin UV light, and what I'm gonna do is I have to go over this and do this kind of in stages because obviously it's a large dolphin. So I'm gonna do this in stages, and I'm gonna go all the way down doing it like 2 minutes at a time, and then once I have it where I know nothing's gonna move, I'll hit it again with another 3 minutes. So I won't put you guys through all that, but here's where we're at now. The next step, we'll be starting to build our beach out. All right guys, so we're back, and we're gonna get ready to do our first layer of waves. And my goal for this layer is I'm not so much worried about coating the entire surface of the dolphin. And sorry, I got the dolphin sitting up on some cups, little tiny measuring cups, just to so it's not sitting so flat, so I can actually work around some edges and stuff. So we're going to do our first layer of waves. My goal is not to completely coat this. If that ends up not happening, that's okay. It's just to get on that first layer, and I'm going to shoot for the line between the colors, so through here and through here, to kind of blend those out. And what I've done so far is I've got our white that we've been using on our waves, and I got some like aqua green, and this is marine blue, and it just says alcohol ink on it. I don't recall what brand this is because I think I've worn off the label, but I'm gonna really miss this color when it finally is out. And sorry, I got the ink all over my hand, so I'm gonna hit that with some alcohol real quick before I end up getting it all over myself or rubbing it on my face, which I have done in past. I've actually rubbed it on my face and then not even known it was on my face for the rest of the day. And yeah, I've gotten some interesting looks. But so, and we're gonna do our glue trick to hold all of our waves where we want to put them. And that, so each of these cups is about an ounce. So I'm going to take 1 drop per cup. Okay, 1 drop, 1 drop. So it's 1 drop per ounce to use the glue, so you don't get too much in there, and it actually changes the consistency, you know, it changes the curing properties. But I mean, look at this. This is like jelly now. It's pretty wild. And let's get this one mixed. Okay. I've also, now that this is out of the mold, I can actually use a butane torch so we can torch our bubbles out. But I did put this through the bubble remover, but after all this mixing, it doesn't really matter. I've just mixed in a bunch more bubbles. But we can use our torch now because we're not in a mold anymore. For any of you that are watching that are new to resin, the deal is if you put a torch flame, like a superheated butane torch, onto silicone, it will actually fuse the silicone to your resin. So not only do you mess up your resin piece that you're working on, you mess up your mold. So we don't do that. That's why we use long neck lighters and alcohol sprays and stuff like that. So getting past all that, let's do our aqua layer, which is going to go at this light blue, dark blue kind of interface. Oh, look, I use big words and everything today. Oh, look at this. It's oh my God, it's so jellified. It's dragging the resin. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to like spread this out some. Yeah. That worked. It's not, look at this. It's like I'm dragging a aqua blue snot ball across the dolphin. And let's just get some of this on the tail. We need a little bit of this colored resin to go down in order to actually blow the waves out. So we actually do need a little bit of a layer here. I'm going to try to extend our snot ball over to here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is this project's multiple layers, guys, multiple layers. That's why I'm trying to make each step a little fast for you all, so you don't, this doesn't end up being a super long video. But and this is our deeper waves, so that's why I'm not going right up against the shoreline with this layer. This is our deep waves that as you get out into the water deepens. Now let me try something. I don't really want to just pour this out like I did the first one. I want to try to control it a little bit. Okay. See, and I'm just going, look at this. I mean, literally, I should get a scissor and cut it. But it's this consistency that will suspend your glitter, or in our case, keep our waves from going too far. And this is also going to keep this resin from going just over the edge, and we end up losing everything. So I'm hoping that this works. If not, we'll be sanding this layer down and starting doing it the old-fashioned way. But I hope this works. It worked on the other piece, but the other piece was also in a mold. Okay, that's a little better. Let's get a little bit of snot over here. Ugh. Have you guys ever played with that like Nickelodeon slime? My kids used to, when they were young, used to play with that stuff, and that's what this reminds me of. Okay, and I'm not so worried about going way up into that dark blue. I'm mainly shooting for this midsection right here. We'll hit that darker blue in another layer. Mainly after this midsection here. Okay, and now this will spread a little bit once we get a heat gun on it too, by the way. So I'm gonna go ahead, I think, and oh, that stuff is so sticky gummy. Ugh. I want to get it off my hands a little bit because I'm gonna need to take a torch to this. Let's dry the alcohol off my hands. Just getting some of these bubbles. I don't want the bubbles affecting the formation of our waves. Plus this is going to heat the resin up a little bit so that we can actually get our waveforms in here. And I got my white, and I'm just going to squish my little thing here, my little cup, and make a nice thin line. And I apologize if I'm covering some of this up, but this, like I said, this dolphin is so big that it's just inevitable I'm gonna end up covering something up. Okay, let's start there and see what we got. Now, remember the resin is colored, so as we blow this out, we should get, like, the color should actually blend with the white, and it'll turn the waves a different color. So let's see what we got. I'm gonna put you guys on a fast forward.
The sky in colors bright, glowing orange like a fiery light. Seashells dance and breeze on golden shores. Pensacola's beauty forevermore. Nature's magic never fades away. In emerald coast where dreams come true each day. Palm trees sway under skies so blue. Sandy's are forever new.
Okay, so let's see, what are my thoughts here? I think it did the job of keeping our waves in place. You know, by doing what I'm doing now, I'm actually stretching the waves out, which is kind of cool because of that glue that's in there. Without having to touch the white, I'm actually able to kind of pull these out a little bit, which is really neat. Now, normally you can't do this. Your waves will not pull out like this. I do like that. This side over here was kind of bugging me. What I didn't get that I'm kind of sad about is even though we mixed the color into this, I didn't get the white going down into that color as much, and I'm assuming it's because of the glue. So that we missed out on a little bit, but overall I would definitely do this again. Like, I think it's a win. Yeah, if I sit here and tap on the waves, they turn color. They go to the blue and the green. but I think it's because it's keeping the white on the surface more because of the glue, which, you know, overall I'm still happy with, because as a first layer wave, they're not bad. I'm gonna hit them with a little bit of a heat. So really, to get these cells in the waves, there's several things you can do. One is making sure that you don't make your white too thick. You want it just almost like skim milk, but not as blue. You know, if you know what I mean. Like sometimes skim milk looks blue. The other thing is when you apply your heat gun and you stretch that pigment out, sometimes the stretching out of it will actually create some cells. And the other part is heat. So when you torch it, sometimes that brings out some cells. But I don't want to scorch, because if you scorch the white, it will yellow on you, and you don't want that. But just a little bit of heat brings out some of the cells. I really like in this area in here. I think that looks awesome. The other thing you can do, it's a more extreme measure, and it's using silicone oil. And if you take drops of like little toothpick, tiny toothpick drops of silicone oil, you can actually get your waves to break up and make the cells a little bit too. It kind of, if any of you've ever done fluid art with acrylic paint and water or pouring medium, you can add, it does the same thing, you know, you add silicone or a pouring medium to your fluid art and you can get some really nice cells. I'm seeing like little holes. That's the only thing I'm doing here, guys. I'm trying to talk while I'm doing that. But I think I'm pretty happy with this layer so far. I think we're definitely onto something here. Now, I would not add glue to a top coat, I don't think. I think it's going to change the curing, like the surface curing of it. I do believe it happened in my last piece. I showed it to you guys earlier, the cutting board I was working on. What it did in the end was it left some weird like little circly things going on, and so I ended up having to retop coat that whole piece. But what I'm going to do now is spray this with some silicone oil, spray it with some alcohol, and sometimes that helps the cells as well. Spray it with that, and we're going to leave this, and I will see you guys back in a little bit for the next layer. All right, bye now. Hello all, we're back, and this layer is completely cured. So we're on to our next, and what I've done is I've mixed up about 40 mils of 4-hour fast cure. I put a little bit into a little cup with some Let's Resin Ocean White, and I didn't put as much, so this is pretty thin because I want this layer of waves to be a little thinner, not as stark. I've also broke out a little bit of my glass beads, so these tiny little blue opalescent ones, as well as these super like micro tiny opalescent whites. So what I'm going to do with these is put those along the edge like a little bit of sea foam that's rolled up onto the shore. And I'm not going to use as much of these. I'm going to use more of these. So we're going to do our waves. I'm thinking this time to glue or not to glue. That is the question. I think we're not going to do the glue on this one because we're working in a really tiny space. I'm working in this gap here that goes along our shore, and it's going to kind of contain itself. And then I'm going to be working off the fin, the dorsal fin, and off the tail, where that we didn't get any last time. So I think we're going to be okay because the areas we're working is so little, and I don't want to use glue just to use glue. So we're gonna get going with that and start pouring our clear. And I'm going right up against that sand line. That way I can get some of our foam to stick and get the wave in there. Okay. Let's see if I need a little bit more, maybe right in here. I'm trying not to go up on the existing wave section that we did before as much. I mean, if it does a little bit, that's okay. I'm not fretting about it, but I don't need to get up all the way. And just making sure that's a good coat. And I'm going to go up into this dorsal fin. Get a good coating up in there. And if this rolls back onto our existing, that's okay too. I'm not upset about that, because this is going to get a final clear coat after this layer is done. But we're almost there, guys. This one has felt like it's been a long one. Okay, so, and I have maybe 1 mil left in there of resin. Let's see, I'm checking for bubbles. Not seeing any bubbles really. I got my heat gun ready, and so let's start putting in our little stream of white. Okay. Now I know when we start blowing this out, it is going to blow up on our previous wave, but that's okay. That's giving us that 3D look we were after.
Charmed by the seaside side, fishing boats on calm blue seas, echoes of laughter as joy increases. Every moment a perfect scene in Emerald Coast where I fish sea.
Okay. That's good. I see a little area right along this edge. I need a stick. Just smoothing this part out to make our next layer a little easier. Okay. All right. And I'm going to take my gloves off because I'm not going to be touching any more resin. I don't want to get resin all over my torch or my spoon for my beads. So let's see. Hit that with the torch. There we go. Right along our beach line. Okay, so I have these little teeny tiny spoons. They come in some of the resin kits. So that's where I got these from, and I didn't buy these like separate or anything. They just came in some of the kits that I've purchased in past. So what I'm going to do is just lightly go along, right along where the sand meets the water. These things get everywhere. Trying to control them a little bit here. They tend to do their own thing and go everywhere. I feel like I could keep touching the spoon, so I just want to make sure there's no resin on that spoon. And you guys can probably see that I am getting some spillover on these edges, and that's okay. This is 4-hour fast cure. It won't last very long. It'll just pour a little bit over just fine. Okay, so there's those. I don't want to do too much, but that's good. And then these are just going to be very sporadic. I am not going crazy with these blue ones because they are a little bigger. I think I'm going to go like right in here a little bit. Maybe down here by the nose. Oh, I do like those right here. Okay. And down by the tail. Just a little hint. Okay, I'm gonna just checking, looking and checking. Okay, so that's this layer. We're all done here. The next layer is going to be the flood coat to smooth all of this out. And then I'll clean it up off camera. After we're done with our flood coat, I'll clean it all up and then show you the final result. So stay tuned, it's gonna be pretty. Bye now. Good morning. Good morning. Say hi, Willie. Say hi. Here's my buddy. All right, good morning everyone, and we are ready to finish this thing. So here is the final piece, all done. The edges have been sanded, trimmed, all the good stuff, and there we have it. I'll bring you down. So there's our dolphin, all done and shiny. There's our tail. Our waves came out very well. Let me put some extra light on here. There you go. So give you a good view here. All right, got our 3D effect going, so that's awesome. Yep, all nice and smooth and leveled out. That looks really good. And I wanted to show you guys another little piece that was fun to make. I did this off camera, but I got so involved with the dolphin, I said I need to take a break. So I made little axe here, the axolotl. I was gonna call him Arnold, but I figured axe was a fun name. So there's my little axolotl. I think that's how you say that. And he's got a mascot. He's got a ducky on his head because he looks very friendly, so he made a friend. So anyways, guys, thanks for joining me on this journey. And I know it was a long one, and right after I said, oh, I'm not going to do any more long videos, but this one, it's big. It was a lot of layers. We had to do some odd things like take it out of the mold, turn it over. So it's just the way it was going to be, or else I would have cut so much out you wouldn't have been able to see what the different steps were to doing something like this. So sorry about that. We will take effort in making videos shorter for you in future. But there's our final dolphin sitting next to Axe here, and I think it came out absolutely gorgeous. The blues came out really good. I was worried about them being a little too dark in the beginning, but that worked itself out. They actually kind of glisten. You can see that there in that shot. So if you like the video, shoot me a like, throw me some comments on other things you would like to see or do, or have ideas, or how would you have done this dolphin differently. I think our next project is going to be, I keep saying this, but this time we actually may be able to do it, is going to be our state of Florida. So I think I'm going to do it very similarly to this. So I'm debating whether or not I'm going to film that. I might just show you in another video how it came out, because I think we're going to do it the same way as we did this one, because the mold itself is backwards, but we'll see. And give me some ideas, and please hit subscribe, so we build our little community here and share lots of ideas and inspiration. All right, so you guys have a good one, and to have a good day from the Gulf Coast. Rainy yet again, but have a good day from the Gulf Coast. We love you. Bye now. See you next time.
By the Emerald Coast, where dolphins play in the gentle breeze, palm trees sway, snow white sands beneath the sun's warm rays, ardent seashells captures every gaze. Sandy paints the scene with vibrant hues, life in the waves, so free and true. Pensacola's beauty, time and again, in her art, it forever gleams. Oh, Pensacola serenade, where nature and art embrace. In seashells and waves we find our fate. On this coast we never say goodbye.